Oh.
Yo. How we doing this morning? Ah!
Yes.
You know, I feel like Mark. I drive a Mini Cooper now.
Nice.
I should have a barrel of monkeys and some clowns get out my car every time I pull up somewhere, right? How's everybody? How's everybody doing this morning? How we doing? It's funny to me. We've had Mark on Dating with Disabilities, but we've never had him on Autastic Artists, have we?
Yeah, you have.
Oh, we have. Well.
I think Ultra was on that one. I think.
We'll see.
It was just so long ago. I think it's been like almost 2 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
God, it must have been, yeah.
But it's definitely been a while. It's not recent on my sheet. I gotta go look and see where it was at. But the best part about the show is we're trying to learn. We are learning. Most people are learning about their own disabilities while they're on this show, right? That's the best part.
Yeah, definitely.
Have discovered as they've came, right? And then not only that, but our artistry has grown. Many of us that we've met on the show, actually, where we were and where we're at today are two totally different things, right?
Yeah.
They two totally different things, but a lot of us have found a whole different level of success in our careers because of the epidemic. It's been a year and a half. Sorry, Mark. I forgot. Yeah. It's been a minute. You were one of the first 10 episodes. We're on 27 now, all right?
Oh, brilliant.
But top of the morning or afternoon, we were the forgotten couple today. Mark forgot about us. That was white friend.
Yeah, well, you know.
Community service this weekend was hanging out with his colored folks. His white side's coming out. But today, if you haven't figured out, and we came up with a name for the dinosaur. I mean, it looks like
it's broccoli.
Right, it's broccoli.
Broccoli. I love it.
Because he looks like broccoli.
We'll give it up for our co-host. She's the hostess with the mostest, Hershel / Janejira and Broccoli.
Yes. For our audio-only listeners or whoever decided to accidentally tune in for the first time on radio, Broccoli is our green dinosaur. He's super duper cute. That's all you need to know. I am Janejira / Hershel, the potato chip enthusiast. I have a potato chip review blog where I just try potato chips that people recommend, and then I give a brief, completely unnecessary history, as every food blog does. And then I have a rating system of the potato chips. I have the flavor memorability. I have, does it depend on a dip to be good, or is it a strong independent chip that don't need no dip? The texture, because I got sensory issues. If your chip is not sensory friendly, you can go screw yourself. Just kidding, I'll still eat it. It's a whole thing.
I am so proud of you because in the year or whatever change you've been doing this thing, you've never really given us a real answer of what in the heck you're doing. And now I want to be on the potato chip enthusiast. Now you got I guess she's not really my friend. We only do my shows together, not our shows together.
Yeah, the blog didn't come into existence until last year when I was like, okay, guys, I'm finally doing it. For those of you who know me, I put the pro in procrastinate. So if I mention I'm doing something on this show and you hear it for the first time, just give it 2 or 3 years and then you'll be like, aha, they finally did it.
She's not lying. The only reason why things get done around here is because I'm a pain in the neck. And it's funny because I'm a doer. People aren't always knowing this, but there's some people in business that you say, hey, you want to do something? They go, yeah, okay, we'll give it a try. And then you don't know. I'm the guy who says, yeah, let's do something. And we're going to do it this day. And then we're going to do it that same day for the next 12 months guaranteed. And you're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I either do things right away in 2 seconds, or it takes me months or years. There's no in between.
Mark's
Pretty
like,
sure it's an autistic thing.
Well, it takes me an hour longer, as we've established, to do something.
it takes Mark a minute. You know what I mean? We'll give that one alone. He's like, sometimes it's a good thing to take longer. Wrong show, Mark. Wrong show. Today, our guest of the day is Mark Nicholas. Everybody say good morning, Mark.
Hello.
Good morning.
It's not morning where Mark's at. Mark, tell him where you're at. Tell him who you are. Tell him a little bit about you.
So my name is Mark Nicholas. I'm a comic of 4.5 years, coming up to my 5th year in comedy. I'm London, UK based, if you can tell from the accent, obviously. And I have autism. That's why I'm on this podcast. That's the only reason, I think. And I run actually, I think we met over Zoom. I run a disability comedy night called Laugh Able, which I think Dante's been on.
I haven't been on in a long time either. Kind of like he hasn't been on my podcast. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. In all fairness, I've stopped running it over Zoom recently because I tried to start up over Zoom again, and then just like I didn't have the audience for it, so it was just like no, I'll go back to live shows. But yeah, anyway, I've opened up to acts with mental health conditions as well. That's pretty much every comic you'll ever see now, because everyone's talking about their mental health. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. But yeah, it's been good. It's been going well. I'm now this year, as of January, self-employed, so I get the odd paid work with comedies and workshops. I also tutor some kids homeschooling as well. So yeah, I used to work in a school, now I don't. So that's changed a bit. So yeah, I'm just doing this, that, the other. But
that's
the
same path I'm on. I do a little sports broadcasting, right? We do a little stagehand work, right? I'll deal some cards. I was doing some modeling. I got to get a new contract. They let me go like a bad habit. That happens. Hey, three or four gigs in 5 years. I'm not sure I shouldn't have let them go. Hey, it is what it is. It's like when you're hanging on to that loser and then they break up with you and you're like, you're pretty. Never mind. But
yeah.
better at this. I like that.
I'm loving the sound effects on it. I'm actually loving them. I'm here for that.
Pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That one was well timed. I almost cried. Right? But it's I think that's the thing is now I have the freedom. I got my car accident and I've been working, but I made some money off of buying a different car than what I had, right? And you save. Yeah. And then you save, and I actually got what I wanted. That's the best part. But the whole thing is you become an entrepreneur, then you've got time to invest. Like now, coming back into May, I'll have 8 shows a month for live, almost right. 4 open mics, 4 to 5 open mics a month, where I get paid $50 to host it, right? Which isn't a lot, but then 3 shows where I can make $200-300 usually a show. So like you said, that's a good chunk of change. That $1,100 a month is a good chunk, and it's all close to me. And then that's not even so that's where we're not. I don't really work on getting booked. I think my lane for right now is booking, right? Because it's you've got to have a temperature and a thermostat on what's going on around you, right? And I'm glad you hit that you're doing some of these things. And I would almost argue with you that you still got to do that 1 show a month. And here's why. You have 15 to 20 to 30 people that you may be entertaining that don't have any other options.
Yeah.
And that's true. And it grows. One day it'll go from 15 to 20 to 210, and then it'll go from 210 to 2,000. And then next thing you know, you've been doing this thing for 15, 20 years, and you feel like you're almost at Joe Rogan numbers because you've got 5,000 episodes. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
yeah.
And I'm sorry, we're on our pedestal right now, but being one of the people that's in the sale community and working with you, I've found we have to do this. So we'll get off of that.
Yeah. Let's just get
My
off that the
Get
stool of yours. I
on
think it's
time.
quite high up, your high pedestal, you know.
Hey,
Come down a little bit, Dante. Just a little bit.
You gotta. It's we laughed. We did our recap last week of Date with Disabilities. Andy, one of our guests, he's a newer comedian, but he gets messages from people. I don't always get them. I don't always hear them. It's not always who you hear. It's who you don't hear, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's like this is the thing. Like, and again, let's get to you though. You said you were diagnosed Asperger's. When were you diagnosed, Mark?
Oh, so when I was 11, and I'm 32 now, so that's over 21 years I've had this diagnosis. So yeah, long time.
You've got a twin, right?
Yeah, so I've got an identical twin, and what was weird, he was diagnosed when we were 9, but the psychiatrist thought I was just copying him, and that's very common with twins, apparently. But then they realised I had my own fucked up shit going on, and they thought, right, no, he also has autism, but there's other stuff going on, like. Whereas my brother doesn't really sort of give a shit about what he says to people, whereas I overthink things all the time. So it's like we both, have the traits, but in different ways. We can tell we're both on the spectrum, but yeah, it is different. But yeah, for the longest time, people thought I was just attention seeking. Like, oh, just because he's got a diagnosis, you want one as well. Like, no, I hated it. I hated the label for ages. So yeah, it was an interesting story as well.
I don't know if that's more of a hint to your personality as a twat, and everybody just thought you were copying, or if never mind. I'm sorry. I just look at because I've met the other twin, right? And Mark seems like the guy you'd beat up. And what's your brother's name?
Lee.
Lee seems like the guy who'd pay you to beat him up. You get what I mean? Like. They seem like they don't really get along, but they get along. You know what I mean?
No. We do. Well, he's living with me now, and our other friend as well, an old school friend of ours. So that's 3 of us under one house. But yeah, living with my brother again is certainly a bit. Yeah.
Spy versus spy. That's what I think of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You remember what that was, Mark? The old cartoon. Spy.
No.
So it's an old cartoon. I should have talked about that on the comic show I was on yesterday. But we did a comic show about comic strips, and I was talking about how I used to read them.
Oh, nice.
The good ones. But Spy versus Spy was this panel comic strip, right? Where there was a white spy and a black spy, literally, right? And all they did was constantly fight like Tom and Jerry or, Roadrunner and Coyote. But they also took care of each other, right? And I think about that in my, that's why I said you guys love to hate each other. Like, I could see you being the brother that got paid to be beat up because you were like, your brother seems like he's the mastermind jerk. You know what I mean? Where you're the open jerk, right? Like, everybody knows what you got to think. People go, well, I wonder how Lee feels about me.
Yeah.
Right? No, right?
Hang on, I think it's frozen my end.
Uh-oh. Did I freeze?
Yeah, it's frozen, I think.
Sad vibes.
You know what's going on here. Sorry, it's frozen.
We're good. We can all see you and hear you.
Oh yeah, no, mine it just froze. It just basically it came up with Dante's face and it just said unstable, and I thought, really, that's a bit too truthful, isn't it?
That's a mood.
I miss being on here.
Where's the sound effects on that one? That hurt. As we talked about this, what's that got to be like having this brother who, I've been Asperger's longer, I've been autistic longer. Was there ever that rivalry growing up where he would talk trash?
Well, no, but the thing is, we both hated the diagnosis, so we were just like we denied us even having it until we were adults, and then it was like, sometimes with my family, I'm more sympathetic towards him because he had the diagnosis longer, or because I don't know. I guess you call it more severe. I hate when people say severe though, because it's just like a spectrum. It's just different. But he
I
often
would
gets
say
a bit.
it's not more just severe, it's more debilitating, right? Is the word, right? Or
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. But it's almost like because he struggled more than I did. Um, there was a bit more sympathy for him than me, and so I think that's where maybe the rivalry was. But now we kind of we're respectful of each other. But it does sort of feel like a lot of the tension is on him a lot of the time, which is, and he's the youngest as well. So we have two older brothers. So he's the youngest. He's the baby, even though it's only like 10 minutes difference between me and him. It's like he's the youngest. He got the diagnosis first, so everything happened to him first. So yeah, there is a little bit of rivalry there in terms of I think where the sympathy is more drawn to him. So if we're ever in an argument and my family's there, they tend to side with him. Or what he's really good at doing is walking away from an argument right in the middle of it, and you can't do anything about it. So I will be like, we'll be yelling match, and he'll just storm off, and then I can't do anything because it's like
so because he
it's
decided
almost like
to
Fred and Wilbur. Is it Wilbur? You know, it's that sort of thing.
so since your brother decided to remove himself from your drama, you're upset about that. I'm with your brother.
No. I'm one of these people that
Mark,
likes to
I'm
have it.
just messing with you. I yell at people while they're walking away. Stop. And then say, have you seen any of my videos on how I've been treated lately?
Yeah.
Have not been liking me. I've been calling them out on their racism. Like, it's
Yeah, they don't like that.
I'm the type that always comes back and it's like, wait, and another thing, but it's like tomorrow, and it's like, what?
comes back to the
Yeah.
bar the next day. The guy's not even there. But hey, you know, here, you know what I was gonna tell them? They're like, they don't care. Just buy her a drink. Shut her up. I mean, there's always that dynamic of you know, sibling rivalry or siblings, but we don't always think about it from the idea of having a twin, right? Because there's an age gap of 8 minutes. How's that
Yeah.
one of us more superior or inferior to the other? So I think that's especially when you start talking mental health and how they treat those with mental health, having the diagnosis first or the disability first can be, I guess, in your case, you're saying it's a crutch. Maybe because in your case it's mental. Now, I think as a physical disability, though, it would be different, right? Let's say you get hurt, right, and you lose
Yeah.
a limb. Then it don't matter. You're used to this. You could be like, Lee, you lost your leg 10 years ago. Dude, let it go. You're used to it. I'm just trying to walk again. Don't be such a jerk, right? So
Yeah. Can't really say that with autism, can you? You gotta be like, look, you were mental 10 years ago, Lee. Come on. But it's weird because we've both been through our own mental health recently, and I had mine a few years ago, and he's going through his now. I won't divulge his thing online, but it's kind of like what he's going through now. I went through years ago, so it's just kind of like what's nice is that I can actually be there for him because I know what that's like to go through. In a similar way with his autism when he got it first, in a way when I got mine, it took him easier to accept than it did with me. He was able to be there for me. So there are good things about it. I'm not just going to go on here and go, yeah, we hate each other, because actually we're very close. But often when you're very close with someone, there is that you are at loggerheads because you feel emotionally attached to that person. But also you feel like you can be yourself in front of them. But as you know, with Asperger's, when you're yourself, it gloves are off. There's there's no filter. It's just like,
Expect the unexpected.
This is me. Fucking hell, deal with it. You know, it's like, yeah. But that's what we're like with each other. So we're honest with each other. But that's a good thing, I think, you know, because we sort things out. We're one of these or I will persevere. Even if he walks away from an argument, I will persevere. And then we'll eventually. Problem is, there's autistic loops as well. We know these autistic loops when you go around something in your head over and over again. And so It's like, as you said, Janejira, the next day you'll be like, you'll want to make a point about an argument you've had 2 days ago because you've thought of something new. It happens all the time.
Hold on. I talked on our last episode or recap about how people don't know I'm autistic till I have a problem.
Mm.
Talk to me.
Yes, that's me too. Absolutely.
I can't give it up, and I gotta. Well, do you know what happened? And you got to hear every detail. Not only do you have to have but you can't. Hold on, you're interrupting me. I gotta stop. I gotta start over again because you missed something. Hold on, stop. You interrupted me again. And Janejira's nodding her head. She's over. I hate it when he does that. Right? But if you want to find the clarity in the moment, you want to find out if you're right. You know, there's somebody once told me I was narcissistic, and I looked it up, and I was like, I'm never trying to convince people I'm right. I'm trying to find out if I'm right or wrong. That's a huge difference.
That's a massive difference.
Narcissist would be like, hey, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened.
The narcissist will gaslight you into thinking that you're the crazy one, whereas we will do that ourselves. We'll gaslight ourselves for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And so it was one of those where, like I told somebody once, when you start seeing me when I have a problem, or if you see me shut down, if you see me being non-social, if you catch me in one of those environments, then you'll be like, you know what, I think I see it. He does kind of look like Corky from the rest of our lives. Oh, sorry, never mind. But I hate it when people say that, but it's funny, right? Like when people are like, "Oh, now you look autistic," and I'm like, "Oh, did I start biting my shirt again? Hold on." What do you? Never mind. Sorry. Let me ask you. You know, you guys, you and Lee are identical, and you said you grew up with this. Did you guys ever do the switcheroo on people, or do we're different? Or are you guys too?
Yes. So there's a few stories about that. So we switched classes once, school classes, and the problem is he messed around in my class, and he got me into massive trouble because the teacher thought it was me, and I got all these in the UK call them detentions. I don't know what you call them in the US, but where you stay in.
Detention too. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be. I don't know the difference. I mean, I was going to say something very offensive there, but I won't.
Move along.
Move along. You know, but it's like he. I would get massive trouble, and so we stopped switching classes because he was a total arsehole in the other class, and the teacher would blame me because he thought it was me. So we stopped switching, and then another time we switched when he went to meet his girlfriend. Nice. So he hid while I met his girlfriend, and we wanted to see how. I mean, I'll talk about this more, dating with disabilities, when I'm on. But we waited for a little bit. I was walking with her, and what it was, so I wanted to see how far I could take it. So then
this is a little rapey. We're gonna move on from.
No, it wasn't. It actually wasn't. So what? She got it straight. As we started walking up, I started chatting to her. She was like, "Okay, you're Mark, aren't you? I can tell you're Mark straight away." But we sound the same, but I think there's certain mannerisms that are different. And then Lee sort of came out from wherever he was hiding. And went, yeah, we just wanted to see how quickly. It took about 2-3 minutes, which I think is quite a long time, to be honest. I could have done a lot worse in that time, but I wasn't. We were just putting it to the test. So we have done the switching. That has happened.
See, that's the funny part is being a guy of color and dating mostly women of color. That is not a good idea.
I can't imagine it would be.
You imagine doing that to Bra ATD? Oh, you think you're funny, eh? Oh, you want to play? Okay, it's okay. Why don't you go play with your little twin brother, and you guys go play, for fuck's sake. Go play by yourselves in the corner if you want to play games.
Yeah, that's a perfect impression of Variety D, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. Nailed
it. All right, I think so. All right, thank you very much.
I'm doing a show with her as well. We're doing a split bill together, which will be fun.
You know, it's funny to say that because I've been listening to you guys. We've had transitions in all our programs. Like Kitty, which I named her, has now moved on and spread her rings, is doing stand up and trying to do other things and improv.
Okay.
Benny left us. Benny, you see Benny more than we do, but I know Benny's very successful in whatever it is he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Emma, I don't think she liked where the direction of DWD was going because it was a little bit, wild at times, right? And so
Yeah.
we do more of a panel where we interview somebody, so it's more within her realm, right? And so
Yeah.
I also think there's also a part of this where the message is different. When we first started these programs, there's nobody doing any of these things, and now there's, like you said, there's everybody talking about their mental health, and
But yeah, it's true.
it's funny how when you're not so much a pioneer, but one of the first, or at least to yourselves, maybe you're the first, that once you start doing, you see other people doing it. Now, are you still doing it the same as them, or something different is what separates you? And so
Yeah.
I think on this show, that's why we follow up and we can meet with you guys, is because there is a growth and transition in not only your diagnosis, but how you're dealing with your diagnosis, how you're sharing your diagnosis, how you're living with your diagnosis, right? And then as entertainers, especially ones like us, our whole focus has been being or accepting the fact we are disabled. So it may be increasing our audience, decreasing our audience, increasing our material, decreasing our material. So how has it affected you in the last year and a half? Seems like it's helped. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like in terms of, yeah, I think absolutely. Because I've also taken a lot of responsibility for myself as well. But I was, and again, I will talk about this more on Dating with Disabilities, but I was in a very toxic relationship about a year or two ago. No, 2 years ago now. And it got to a point where I couldn't talk with female comedians because the person I was with was very jealous, and all I was doing was networking. And actually, now I'm out of that. Again, I'll go into more detail when we do that. But now I'm out of that. I actually find I'm networking a bit better, a bit more. Like, that's what you need to do. You need to try and, they call it the hustle. You need to try and hustle and things like that. I've become more confident with that because I've become more confident in who I am. But again, I'll take more responsibility when I screw up as well. I know there are autistic comedians that act like absolute arseholes, and then blame solely their autism. And what that does, that gives us other autistic artists a bad name. Like, I'm not saying it's never ever to do with your autism. Yeah, it can be, but as long as you learn and grow as a person and you recognise that and you have honest conversations with those around you, that's fine. But I've seen people, literally, an autistic comic in the UK will be, I know him, he'll be dying on stage, he won't be doing very well, and then he'll start having to go to the audience, accusing him of ableism, and he's autistic, and they're just being mean to him. But he'll say the worst type of things, but he'll blame his autism, and then it paints a really bad picture. And so people like me on the scene, we have to go, yes, I'm autistic, yes, I fuck up sometimes, but I've actually, being autistic, I actually problem solve really well. So it's like, there's some really great qualities about us. Like, I will pick apart my set with a tooth comb. I'll listen back to my recordings and really work on my jokes, like, properly. So there's a lot of positive. I've learned to accept that there were a lot of positives with having autism and being more comfortable, but being more honest. And I'll say to other comics, I'm really sorry if I don't remember your name. I'm really sorry if I don't remember who you are. It's just I meet so many people and I get overwhelmed. But I'll remember a comic by their joke. If they get up on stage and say a joke, right, I know who that person is now. But they tell them the name, I just won't get it. But yeah, anyway, long story short, I've become more confident, and
See, for me, I'd agree, and I'd look at it and say I've been a little bit of both, and it's caused me to be okay with being the asshole, I guess, okay with being me, right?
yeah,
Because I had a confrontation with a guy. I almost beat him up, right?
wow,
Because of the way he treated me in real life, right? And when I seen him the next time, I confronted him, and I really didn't even confront him. He confronted me. He did the "What's up, Dante? Aren't you gonna say hi?" Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to talk then. Let's do this. And I said, last time I saw you, I didn't like how you treated me, and I felt like you disrespected me.
Yeah.
If you were going to apologize, you don't do that by talking shit to me on my live where I complained about what you said to me. And he said, oh, I wasn't apologizing. Oh, okay. Yeah, that definitely wasn't apologizing, and I wouldn't apologize anyways. It was just very dismissive of my feelings. I love the way your face, Mark, if as a white guy, you gave me that look of, oh, no, he didn't.
No, I was looking. I genuinely got a text on my phone. It was.
Yeah,
No, I'm listening to you.
The look on your face was well timed. It was like, that means right. And I say my feelings were valid, and I didn't beat him up, but I told him I'd like get out my face, like, dude, right? Like, if you respect me and I'm telling you I didn't like what you said to me, and you're standing on your ground that you didn't disrespect me, you sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then I saw him the other night, and he runs a place where I go to karaoke, and we got along, and I've let it go. But I also found that, like, that's how I am. Like, I may want to beat you up yesterday. I don't mean I have to beat you up, but I'm going to tell you, right? And for a lot of people, I think that's not okay, right? Because I'm a big, scary black guy. But what they don't understand is I'm actually being an adult here. I'm voicing my issue, right? I'm telling you my emotions. I'm giving you my boundaries.
Yeah.
That's pretty mature, right?
I think as long as you're open and honest, I think that's all you can be. I guess what I was alluding to more is that there were people that there were very toxic comics on the circuit in the UK.
I know, no, don't get me wrong. Now there's the other end of that, and I can't say who because they're local, and I'm local.
Yeah,
I really can't say who I want to talk about, and Janejira knows who I'm talking about. When this ends, we'll definitely talk about who we're talking about because we know some of these people possibly in common, right? And I've seen them take their disability and turn it into their act, B, a persona, and 3, a woe is me card, right? And for me, those are the 3 things that turn me off the most, right? If your persona is now your disability, not like, and I don't mean like Benny Shakes or anything like that, or like Jamie, like when you're now, your whole act is I'm autistic. Well, there's more to your life than autism, right? Like, autism didn't make you choose that ugly pink shirt. Right. Sorry. Yeah, you don't have a pink shirt on. Why did Mark get all sensitive, dude? Like, what do you mean?
I know. I was just like, what are you saying? I'm like, I took that a bit too literally.
I'm glad. I love how I can sell when I talk. That means I'm a good salesman. I'm telling a good story, right?
You were so convincing that Mark thought he was wearing pink for a second, and he's like, "Am I?"
Wow, this is Dante's like a hypnotist or some shit.
I'm a good storyteller, but that's the whole idea, is that some people, then the idea that their act is all autism, right? Well, you're more than your disability. You're more than
I'd like that's what I've been doing the last year or so. I've been writing about why I got into comedy, which is totally not to do with my autism. I got into comedy because my dad died, and it was like this. He could see he could laugh at the most darkest of times, and I found that helpful because he died of cancer, but he used to joke about his cancer all the time, and I found that quite sort of reassuring because he could take something, you know about this, something very traumatic, Dante, and you try and joke about it to deal with your trauma. It's what we all do.
Oh, you mean these
cigarette burn
scars joke?
No, but no, it's just not, no, but it's true.
You remember, yeah. That's the whole idea, right? Like, can you laugh through these things? And so when I say that is there's a difference between finding a balance, right? Between your saying, hey, I am somebody of this. Do you know how much my material talks about my Asperger's?
Not much.
None, right? How much of my material talks about me being deaf?
A lot. No, none. No, it's mainly about your upbringing.
right? And being black and white, the things.
And people spelling your name wrong.
Shut up, Janejira. Shut up, Hershel.
Well, that's actually how I learned your name, because like I can't remember your face when I look at it, but every time you were on set, people were like, some people like to call me Duante, but that's not my name. And I was like, note to self, do not call the tall man Duante, because that is not his name.
Actually, I was working in a school a few months ago. A young boy, he was African Caribbean. He was called Dante, and it was spelled Dontay.
Oh, jeez.
But I don't know whether that was just because they're in the UK. I don't know if there was all these. How many different spellings are there of Dante?
Don't start mansplaining this one. We're not doing this today. Okay? For folk's sake, Mark, we're not doing that today. That's my Emma Roberts impression. We'll have her on DWD in a couple weeks. For folk's sake. But no, it's funny to say that because there's a ton, right? And like I don't know, like I'm not saying you can't do wheelchair comedy when you're stuck in a wheelchair, right? And I'm not saying when you have a physical disability, right? People can see it. So we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be in a wheelchair, not talk about having a wheelchair and do a whole hour's worth of comedy. Eventually somebody would look at you and think, what's up with the fucking wheelchair, man? Everybody in there's gonna wonder what's up with the fucking wheelchair. Like, why are you in a wheelchair? You got to tell that story. Like Richard Pryor said, I know everybody's wondering if I burned up and thought it was funny and we lit a match. Here's Richard Pryor running down the street. That's really funny, right? I got to talk about what happened, right? Even Martin Lawrence, he said he had to talk about when he snapped, right? You have to address the elephant in the room. But with a mental disability, you can't see it.
No.
So there's times where you'll notice it and we can all feel it and we'll vibe it and I'll ad-lib it. But I don't want people to be sitting there thinking the whole time I'm talking like, I don't think he's Asperger's. You know, he's talking quite well.
And I've had that before. I've had someone come up to me after a show and go, are you sure you have autism? I'm like, no, I just mock a minority group on stage for the jokes. You know, I'd have my own Netflix special if I did that. Like, I'd be fine. But you know what I mean? That's why I hate when other people, then that's why I'm trying to move away from the autism a bit, because there's so many times where I have to explain people, yes, I am autistic, but it doesn't matter. And yes, I'm a confident person, but autism isn't rocking back and forth in the corner. It isn't Rain Man. It isn't counting matchsticks.
It is. I am very good at math. Shut up. Okay, mind your business.
I was going to say, sports statistics over here, you know.
You're talking to the Black Rain Man, right? You're like, and I'm from Seattle. I'm the Rain Man, right?
I would watch a film called The Black Rain Man. I actually would.
By the Black Seth Rogen on TikTok because all the, you know what I mean? That's funny. Like, my whole personality is culturally appropriating white people. That's and never mind. Anyway, but there's a lot of take it back. Hey, yes, reclaim your personality traits. It's not white to be good at math. It's actually Asian. Oh, sorry.
Which is funny because I'm the worst at math in group, so I like to tell people, guys, I'm not a math Asian, okay? I'm gifted in other ways.
I'm a driving Asian. She can't drive for shit.
I actually can't though. Like I have been doing this new thing where I take my car to work and then I repark it like twice because I'm like, am I in the line or am I on the line? I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna just try this again. One time I reparked like 4 times and gave up and thought nobody noticed. And then I went in and then my coworker was like, wait, was that you in the parking lot? I didn't want to assume because that's a little racist. But like, and I was like, yeah, that was me. That's why I parked very far away because I thought no one could see. But whoops.
That's hilarious. Like I told you I got a new Mini, and so I can fit into any spot now. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm actually starting to learn to drive as well. That's another neat thing about me.
I'm so glad I'm not in the UK. Go ahead, Mark. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no. Exactly. Because the one experience I had driving was when I was 17. We were out in this car park and it was my friend's car. and he tells me to drive in a straight line. It's an open space, right? All you need to do is just drive in a straight line. And I start veering off into a wall
Oh
from the
no.
building. And then he tells me to slam the emergency brakes on. I slam the accelerate. So I go full
No.
pelt into this wall, and he manages to pull the emergency handbrake. And then he yells at me, tells me to get out of the front seat, and he went, "You are never going anywhere near the front seat ever again." But that's one thing I'm really worried about. My spatial awareness is terrible because of the autism. So now learning to drive is going to be a massive challenge for me, but I'm not going to let it stop me. I might crash a few times, but I'm not going to let it stop me.
But I'm not. I
No,
don't know
no,
if I want to
I
agree with you and say that you shouldn't be driving, or if I'm just gonna say, you know, part of this is you've gotta experience life. Like I remember talking to somebody whose kids, you know, that I don't like you to say that, right? ADHD, you're gonna have to focus, right? Like I don't know if I can get out there and drive without losing my shit. Don't say that. That's not helping us. You're disabling us when you say shit like that, Mark.
no, but
Look, a butterfly and cause the sea.
what were you like when you were first driving then? Like, did you struggle because of the...
You know, so I'm good at multitasking.
Right.
And Janejira can tell you that.
Mhm.
I hyper focus by doing multiple things. Right.
Yeah.
And so like I a lot of people hate riding with me because I can roll a blunt, drive, talk, and do like 17 different things at once. And that's usually what I'm doing. And it drives some people crazy. Now the older I get, the less I'm doing that. Right.
Yeah.
And the more I'm just on cruise control now and focusing on driving. But usually I used to, like, if I got in my car, I called somebody. And that's how I would focus on driving, is because I'm talking, which is keeping my brain busy, and then I'm driving, which is keeping my mind busy. And I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it makes any sense to people that
Yeah.
my brain and my mind are two different things.
No, but do you know what? Maybe I'll find that one, because I only did it once when I was 17. But I feel like, yeah, I'm becoming better at doing the hyper focus thing. So actually, maybe when I get in the car now, I'll be fine. I mean, ask me in a few months' time when I have another disability. But no, I'm joking. I think I'll be fine. But
Yeah.
and also, I mean, it's probably the same in the US. The best gigs are gigs you can drive to, because they're in the off the middle of nowhere where you can't really use trains or buses. Yet you have to drive to the middle of nowhere, but then you're paid an absolute fortune because it is the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're usually given things too when you get done performing, if you know what I mean, right?
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
get local goodies, if you know what I mean, right?
yeah.
When I was first learning to drive, like they were like, you have to have no distractions, and that means like no music and stuff. So when I was like, I'm driving with my sisters and stuff, I was just like stressed out because I could just like hear all the car sounds, and I was like, what are all these things? And then just like not being able to like multitask. And then when I was driving by myself and I had music on, magically I'm such a better driver. I can focus. If there's just like no background sound or anything to like distract me from all the sensory issues, then there goes that Asian stereotype swerving all over the place. And then I didn't realize that was like a sensory thing. And then I saw a post about it. And then it took me a while to figure out that like you have spatial awareness issues and sensory issues, and that does affect driving. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was just like tripping and just like naturally terrible at this. But they don't take that into account when driving school. They're just like, always focus, don't have distractions. And I'm like, well, that's going to be difficult.
Well, no, it's actually like, so when Benny learned to drive, Benny Shakespeare, as I don't know, cerebral palsy, he actually had a driving
Is he
instructor
good
that,
at it?
sorry?
Do you let him drive you?
No, Benny's very good driver. He's an,
How?
he,
So he
well,
doesn't shake when he's driving?
Okay. So let me explain. That's what I was going to get.
I'm sorry. I just over here. I had to.
I mean, no. In all fairness, Dante, what they do when they were assessing him, they actually made adaptations to his car because of his disability. They had to make adaptations, so he'll have this metal thing attached to his steering wheel where he can grip it and then turn. Yep. And it'll be an automatic car as well, not manual. And actually, he's got this big sort of van type car, and he's absolutely fine. I mean, yeah, he has to take breaks, but I've driven around the country with Benny. I drove to Scotland with Benny. We did our show, and it was.
I'll let you know that's not that far, by the way. But go ahead.
Sorry.
And living in the United States, you saying drive.
Oh yeah, I was going to say you've got practically 52 different countries in one country. I always forget that.
We drove around the country. You drove 100 miles. Shut up. Nobody.
He just went next door real quick. Went over the line and we're like, okay, we're here.
That's not even Spokane over here. Nobody cares, right? It's not.
I always forget who I'm talking to here.
It took us 4 hours to get to the next city, and then we're not even at the end of the state yet. We're like, are we there yet?
That would have been to Germany by now. You might have got to France. No. Go ahead.
No, but that's the thing. They did those adaptations for Benny when he was younger, and I think they're pretty good over here in the UK. If you're learning to drive and you have a disability, they will take that into account.
That's an option over there. Over here, we're like, nah, you're gonna suffer.
Hey, you get a bus pass, or we'll have Access pick you up. We have a bus service that's horrible. They treat people like crap. They're the people that fired me, and I'm suing, right? That's who we have in charge of our disabled people.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over there, they're like, oh, you have a disability. Let's give you a new car.
And we'll totally make it work for your disability for free.
Give us some upgrades.
In UK, they do pimp my ride for all disabled people.
Yeah, honestly, just
bring up my ride. Hold on, we got a new show. Give my ride.
Yeah, no. Honestly, bring your Mini Cooper to the UK, Dante. Let's pimp it up.
We'll gimp it out. Is that what you're saying? Oh, geez.
Is it called Crip My Ride?
Crip My Ride.
Hey, the Bloods can't do that. Hold on, it depends on your hood, right? The black people, only never mind. I said that once. I said,
what if you're a Blood with a disability, though? Does that give you the best of both worlds?
Are you allowed to go by cripple? That's what I was thinking. Oh, Jesus. These are horrible jokes. These are funny. These are definitely funny. It's just different. We don't enable our disabled people to drive. We usually give them a bus pass. We have somebody pick them up.
I know. See, I think it's bad. I think everyone should be able to.
You could drive everywhere in England in 27 minutes. I got it.
It takes us 27 minutes to move an inch forward in traffic over here.
Well, I mean, no. In all fairness, if you're driving in London, you can't get around at all. That's 3-4 hours you're stuck in traffic in London. So, because
you could take a whole break.
Yeah, honestly, it's just you can't move more than 20 miles an hour in London in the city. On the motorway, you're fine, but city is so congested, and we have a thing called congestion charge as well. So if you've got a car that's a lot of emissions, you get charged a lot of money just for driving into London. It's really they're proper on it. But then see, that's why I've never drove, because in London
you give you the car. That now we figured it out. They're not. Yeah. Oh, it's a drug over there. We're gonna give you this car, but you got to come back and pay us for the roads and for the toll.
Yep.
And for your emissions.
Pretty much.
It's $4 a liter, which means that it's 4 times the gas cost, because we pay that for a gallon. There's 4 liters in a gallon.
Yeah.
0.79 to be sorry, that Rain Man in me is coming out again.
All right, Rain Man. All right, Dustin Hoffman over here.
Right, but that's what killed me is when I go to Canada and the gas is by the liter, we're getting screwed. You guys aren't even paying by the gallon. You guys are paying two because you have to convert it. And I was like, oh, we're getting robbed. It's like $8. Now you guys are paying like $16 American for a gallon of gas. You know that, right?
Wow.
Ew.
Yeah, didn't know that.
So
Yeah.
gross.
How much is a liter of gas in the UK right now?
Right, let me have a look. See, this is really that I don't drive, so you can tell I don't drive.
That's like
I'm gonna look it up.
about
Google is
and I got
how
to
much is. So hang on, here we go. It's oh god. We see we do it by mile.
No, you're fine. Stop. It's about $1.57. I already found it. So you multiply.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
That's $6, and then I think the pound to UK is
$1.04 to the pound. It's not that.
$7.50, right? So that means you're paying about $7.50. You're paying two times right now. We're down about $3.70 in Washington if you're lucky, right? If you got we get down to $3.30. But those are the we just did social. Don't tell us we're not autistic. We're analyzing gas prices, transcontinental gas prices.
Jesus.
Don't tell us we're not weird, right? We'll prove you wrong.
Yeah.
We'll have a whole essay on why you're incorrect the next day.
Oh yeah, there are. I'm gonna have citations, Wikipedia, everything. You know.
Janejira's gonna send me a memo. By the way, you said it was 16. It was 8. You lied.
Yeah, you didn't round up to the nearest 10th decimal or something.
Guess what time it is? It's my least favorite time of the show.
Yes, it's the greatest part of the show for the new listeners. It is the lightning round. It's been a minute. We're going to ask 3 super fun, very silly, lighthearted questions, and then 3 more serious, like deep questions. Maybe Duante will cry, who knows? Maybe Mark will cry. We're going to get real.
That's called a callback. I've been crying too much lately. I hate her.
It's okay. I cry all the time. That's how my face is so moisturized.
Yeah, free moisturizer.
Exactly. You gotta stay hydrated. Okay, let's start off the fun round with like a light cutesy little question. If you could be a dessert, what kind of dessert would you be?
Oh, so which one first? Is it me?
Oh yeah, you answer the questions.
Asking you. This is not a
Yeah.
Oh, it's only me. It's only me. Cool.
Yeah, you're the star.
I would be a chocolate fudge cake.
Ooh.
Just because it's nice and I would say I'm pretty thick after lockdown.
Hey.
It's nice and thick. It's very sweet, like me. But it's and it's full of sugary goodness. Yeah, I don't know if I'm full of sugary goodness. Probably, yes, I am. And,
the only way you can get away with being black and not it being called, you know what I mean? What do they call that?
You know what? I didn't want to go down that road. I didn't want to go down the colour of the chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake, does my pecker get bigger? You know what I mean? Like, I get
Wrong podcast.
Okay, yeah. So chocolate fudge cake. That's what.
That's a good answer.
Serious question. Oh,
I thought you were gonna ask. It's called taking turns.
I'm supposed to ask all the serious questions. That's how it works. I'm the jerk, right?
No, Duante, really, you shock me.
I wish. Just like your mom. Is that you? Is that how you feel? He's flicking me up. Just like every other family reunion, every family. We wish.
It's giving Duante huge PTSD right now.
Once I put him back on the camera, he's like, I wasn't flipping off the black guy. I wasn't doing it.
No, what are you on about, Duante? You're seeing things. He's fucking blind as well as deaf. Like
he's blind, and he's this motherfucker right here, right? He's blind, man. Let me ask
Gaslighting, the British edition.
Right?
Yes, invented by the British.
Yeah.
With how old you are, and you talked about this earlier, why'd you wait so long to learn to drive? I mean, let me ask you, what made you wait so long?
Because serious question, serious answer. I was genuinely terrified I would crash, and yeah, literally because I had no spatial awareness. I was 14 till I learned to ride a bike. So imagine like you're behind the steering wheel, this big metal object going at 70, 80, 90, whatever the limit is. I don't know. But it's just like, it terrifies me. It actually terrifies me because I know I'd end up crashing. But now I'm thinking, no, I'll take that risk. I'm going to be all right. Like before, it was just me being scared of things.
See, what it was is when he was younger, he was like, I have a life to live.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a virgin when I die.
I've lived a long life, Dante. That's why I'm learning to drive now. I've lived a long.
You want to live a longer life.
Virginity is. I want to do that again. I want to. I gotta be able to drive to do that again. I gotta be able to drive.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll ask the loose leaf question because I'm not gonna get stuck with all the tight uppity ones.
Right.
What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
Cartoon. Wow. Okay. That is probably The Simpsons. I loved The Simpsons. I loved it.
You were Bart, weren't you? You were Bart. I could see it.
I was Bart, basically. Bart was my idol. I loved it. I just thought it was really easy watching. But also the fact that The Simpsons have pretty much predicted all these future events now. Like there's an episode of The Simpsons where they talk about President Trump, and like and everyone sort of forgot about that. And then when Trump got elected, it's like, yeah, Simpsons predicted it.
They actually had the coronavirus on The Simpsons.
Yeah, they did. So it's like, yeah, predict all these wonderful things. I know it's just really easy to watch though, The Simpsons, but but it just meant I thought all Americans had like 3 fingers and were all yellow, and that could come across as really racist, by the way. I'm going to vote back on that.
I was about to say, if I only had 3 fingers, I would tap into that joke because I can get away with it, but y'all can't.
The white guy can't. The white British guy cannot do that.
That is actually a disability, jerk. You're up next, Janejira. What's your serious question for Mark?
Let's see. Ooh, if you could have like a TED Talk or something about like disabilities and things, how would that go? Give us a little sample.
Oh my word. A TED Talk. So it would just be, I'd want to talk about what everyone thinks autism is and what it actually is. Because there was way too many stereotypes, and I mean, I know Dante's a walking stereotype, but
you son of a bitch, it's called I'm a walking statistic.
Get it correct.
Racist says I'm a walking stereotype. The compassionate person says statistic, dickhead.
No, but like joking aside, like no, it's just I think I would talk about, we're not all, as you said, Janejira, we're not all amazing mathematicians who can, incredible computer scientists with no social skills.
Shut up. Fuck you, Mark. Just say we're not all Dante. I heard what you said. You're an asshole. I'm not gonna take your abuse. That's bullying.
But no, it would basically, I'd want to talk about the differences and how we're all on, how the spectrum's huge and we all have different traits, because it's true. So yeah.
I also think some people don't understand that it is a spectrum. I had to explain to somebody that the other day. They're like, well, I don't think I have autism. Like maybe I'm a little bit on the spectrum. And I'm like, bro, being on the spectrum at all, that's the part. That means you have it. That's the whole point. Because it's different for everybody. Like it's just like less what I call like visible and noticeable. In some people, those are the people where it's like, I didn't know you had it. And then there's some people where it's like, they're in the special ed class and you're like, I see. Okay, okay. And then there's people in the middle.
This is like orgasms for women. There's a spectrum. They're either on the
Yes.
spectrum or they're not on the spectrum. You may notice it, but you may not. They're either on or off the spectrum. Just because you think they're on the spectrum doesn't mean they're on the spectrum. Sorry, too late.
Round podcast.
Good question. That was a pretty good answer. I got it.
That was good.
Go ahead, Janejira. What's your second fun question?
The most important question. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, this is hard. I like I don't know, the Velociraptor, because it's quick, it's fast, you don't know it's come and gone. Anyway, enough about my sex life.
Did you know they're supposed to have feathers?
Sorry?
Did you know that velociraptors are actually supposed to have feathers?
Yeah, isn't it like, maybe this is wrong, but they're like chickens have evolved from velociraptors. Yeah, birds or some sort of birds. But velociraptors.
They're probably more like a capoeira or what's the other one? Ostrich. What's the big? Isn't it a capoeira or whatever? There's a big fighting.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's huge, scary. Like it's as big as one. Big one. And then I'll end with the last serious question. It's serious. It's not that serious. If you could go on a holiday, see, I'm learning about you bastards over there. It's not a vacation. It's a holiday.
Holiday.
Where would you go for your favorite holiday?
Is it somewhere I've been or somewhere I'd like to go?
Your choice.
And if you got like unlimited money to go to wherever, what's the first place?
And a passport, and you're allowed to go by schools.
I would like to go to California. I've never been, always wanted to go.
What the hell?
This is so new. I've never met someone who's excited to go to the US for a vacation.
Oh,
well, if I had unlimited money, I mean, the US is really shit if you don't have much money. But if you have unlimited money, the US is pretty good.
That is true, actually. I never had the privilege of thinking about that.
No.
I got unlimited money. I heard what he said. He's not that party.
No, I'm definitely not in that position at the moment. I definitely do not have unlimited money.
For the cookers or for the cocaine? Which one are we talking? Oh, sorry. He's like, I can either confirm or deny, right? I've been to Colombia. Let's just say that. Well, this has been an awesome show. Before we get out of here, Mark, tell them where they can find you. Tell them your socials. Tell them what you got going up real quick.
You can follow me, not in the street because I think that's illegal over here. But you can,
oh boy.
you can follow my Twitter at mnicholascomic. You can follow my Facebook, Mark Nicholas Stand Up Comedian. Instagram at Mark Nicholas 9690. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's also Laugh Able as well, just for Laugh Able on Facebook. That's my disability night. And Laugh Able 9690 on Twitter and Laugh Able 1990 on Instagram. And to be honest, if there's a demand for it, I'm happy to put on another online Laugh Able show. So you heard it here first.
I think you're doing that at least once a quarter, Mark.
Yeah. Maybe we can talk about that because I'd like to try and.
And you know what's funny is, we could work together. Maybe Soup Man starts producing it and using your name, but we'll still get your logo on there. That way we can keep it going.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But yeah, so that is all my socials. That's where you can find everything I'm doing. So yeah,
not a solution. Soup Man's gonna start producing Laugh Able. Anyway,
well, no, there's no contract. I've not signed any contracts. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm not.
It's Dante the hypnotist.
You can't do it. Hold on, you can't do it. Give it up for our co-host with broccoli, Jade. Janejira!
Yes! My sound effects died, so I gotta improvise. Woo!
Give it up for Mark, aka everybody else calls him Butt Plug, our guest.
Yes! And the crowd goes wild. Woo!
Also the butt plug, buddy. It's only because you got a butt plug. That's it. That's only why. And last
Yeah, in the podcast of Butt Plug. Thank you.
exactly. And last but not least, I've been your host of the most. I didn't do my hair today. Give it up for me. I'm Soup Man. And also, don't forget, you might be listening to us on 98.3 KMWV because this is broadcast all throughout Central Oregon on the radio every Friday. So don't forget hearing us on the radio, seeing us on YouTube, or watching us on Facebook. Or you can catch us on the millions of Anchor podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. We'll be uploading all the latest episodes, and we'll be uploading clean versions too because I edit them for radio. So for those of you who don't like our potty mouths, you can listen to the clean ones instead. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody.
Woo! Thanks, audience.
Bye.